it was interesting because there was a lot of like, I don't want to say disdain, but just like a lot of negativity, like people like screaming like, what the fuck, are
They're
you
like,
serious?
shame, shame.
Almost, yeah,
If
like
you're
what the
watching the
like.
YouTube, there's probably that scene from Game of Thrones that has just been added here for like,
Yeah.
shame, shame.
No, no, I refuse. No, no. Shame. Shame. Shame, shame, shame.
In the name of the Father and the Son and the Academy Awards. We're talking movies. We're talking Conclave, starring Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, and John Lithgow. Based on the book of the same name by Robert Harris, screenplay by Peter Stronigan, and directed by Edward Berger. I would choose the name John as my name. That's what it would be.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How Do You Like That Movie? As Scott said, we're going to be talking about Conclave. Before I kick you over there, first off, we want to say a big thanks to the Tarot Group for giving us some passes to check out this film. As well, if you've been liking this show, or if this is your first episode and you do enjoy the show, make sure you head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, whatever, maybe even a recommendation. We're trying to get our Rotten Tomato scores.
Do it. Do it now.
So, Scott, on that note, take us away.
All right. So basic premise of this movie is, like you said, the Pope is dead. It's time to select a new Pope. So the candidates start the campaign trail. They make some flyers, they make buttons, and they start trying to get the votes.
The old get out the vote in the Vatican. I'm not a crook.
Yeah. All right. I think they
or we are all
else.
crooks.
Yeah. So I know, like, for most people that doesn't sound very interesting, but the thing that makes this movie to me very interesting is the performances in it. Like, this film just captivates you. Like, as I wrote in my written review of this film on our Instagram page or letterbox, you can also go there and start liking and subscribing us there. The joy
by us,
of
Scott means him. He has a letterbox.
no, Instagram's us. I
Oh,
don't think
yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
follow
Yes,
anybody on
we both
Instagram.
do share the Instagram. Again,
Yeah.
mostly Scott, mostly not Kris. I yell at people on Twitter. That's what I do.
But yeah, I think the joy of this film is the performance between Fiennes and Tucci, and the way they spar. Like, I think you can take their scenes where it's just the two of them, and like
just the two of us,
you and I.
It could be a masterclass in acting, right? Because where they start, where they finish, right? And you, like, through the performances, you think it's going one way, but it goes somewhere completely different, where it's just like it's gonna sound stupid, but it's like a real friendship, right? Like, it just goes up and down, right? But they still respect it and enjoy each other.
and again, so this film is full of a bunch of twists and turns, and the ending is wild. We'll talk we'll talk ending adjacent, because I don't want to give it away. I'm actually shocked that I was able to go into this film not knowing that the ending, and I don't think that it's worth it. Like, no one deserves to have the ending. If anything in this film, the ending is not worth spoiling. But like the character Scott's talking about, if you haven't seen the film, Ray Fiennes, he plays Cardinal Lawrence. So he's basically the dean. He's the one running the election of the conclave. And Stanley Tucci plays Cardinal Bellini. He's an American. And of course, he's playing like a liberal. He wants to open up the Catholic Church and make it more accepting. And then you got Sergio Castellino, who's an Italian actor and director. I can't remember the Cardinals name, but he plays the opposite. He plays the conservative aspects of the Catholic Church that want to get back to, you know, being in Latin, very anti-Muslim, very anti-Islam. And so you can't, and then there's some other characters played by, you know, John Lithgow, and then a fantastic performance by Isabella Rossellini as Sister Agnes. But really, what this is, this fight between the church moving forward, the church going backwards, and then Ralph Fiennes as Cardinal Lawrence trying to just run an election. But also, he definitely is on the side of more liberal church, and the argument is that the Pope, who had just passed away, was more liberal as well. Would you think I summarized the film fairly well that way?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you learn, okay, because I don't want to spoil it either. You believe he's more liberal, but I think
he presents as more liberal.
Yeah. But I'll say, like, in terms of the Pope who passed, like, he is 100% like a Machiavellian character. Like, they allude to it right at the very beginning, because Tucci, when they're talking about like his friendship with that Pope, they said, you know, they would play chess every night, and then Lawrence asks, did you ever win? He goes, no, he was always 7 moves ahead of everybody. And then you're watching this, and again, I don't want to spoil it, but you find how true that statement is about this priest, right? About this Pope who passed, and how far ahead he was, and what his plans in motion ended up to be.
I mean, yeah, a Pope being 7 moves ahead could basically be the log line for this film, or the tagline for this film. In a world full of popes, this one is 7 moves ahead.
Let's do this, Schmidt.
So, like, how did you like this movie, Kris?
So I actually was pleasantly surprised. I mean, the cast is fantastic. Again, like Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Sergio Castelloni, and Isabella Rossellini. Like, I mean, you see those people and you're like, all right, like, and it's a drama, right? It's a political drama. I don't think anybody going into this doesn't feel that is, you know, not what this film's going to be. So I was pleasantly surprised about the way it played out. The twist just kept coming, which I thought was good. But the end. So I saw this in the theater, and the ending was so shocking. And remember, this is like a 2 PM or 12 PM, like weekday screening, right? Because it was right when it opened. So it's basically a bunch of like older people. And there was like audible sounds, like people were like, "Oh, what? Ah!" Like, I was like, "There's grandma over there, just like fucking losing her mind because of the ending of this film." I think that it is definitely a slow burn, though. So like, it's not going to be like Angels and Demons or Da Vinci Code. It's not action that way. But if you're looking for like a true, in the vein of a political drama, this is going to satisfy all those requirements. Again, standard acting performances, great cinematography. I mean, as soon as you start shooting, let's be honest, the Vatican is the Gucciest of the faiths, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, they got the cool architecture, they got the artwork, they got the dope ass robes and all that type of stuff. So it looks very good on screen. It's shot primarily in Rome by cinematographer Stefan Fontaine, who did Jackie, and then he won awards for Prophet and The Beat That Skips My Heart. But I mean, if you go and watch Jackie, that film is gorgeous. This film is also gorgeous. We'll stop there, and I'll throw it back to you. Like, yeah, so I generally liked it. Political drama, well shot, well acted.
Yeah, I think with this, like I said in the intro, like, I am going to be shocked if this film doesn't get some Academy Award nominations.
Where would you see? Okay, actually, let's tease that out. What Academy Awards do you think it's going to get? Nominated for?
Nominated. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm just saying in terms of nominations, I think Ralph Fiennes for lead. I think Tucci for not supporting, and I think Berger gets his first Best Director nomination.
But first,
Because
didn't he
yeah,
get? Oh yes, yes.
that's the thing. Yeah, like though this movie's more subtle than his last picture in All Quiet in the Western Front, that's the thing. I looked back and I'm like, he wasn't nominated for that movie, right? But this movie, because of the way it's shot, because of the choices like Berger made, like even though it is a slow burn, while this movie's playing out, you're slowly creeping up to the edge of your seat, right? While you're doing this, because of the tension, because of the atmosphere that's put on this screen. And to steal from your playbook, right? Like I think the cinematographer may get a nod as well because he did such a spectacular job. And like during this picture, like you were talking about in terms of like location, like the way this picture is made, like at some points, like the Vatican looks like it's, it feels like it's the most holy of places, like filled with rich treasures, like you want to go. But then the next scene or further down, it's like this is the place that's gonna fucking swallow your soul and just leave you to be damned, right? Because everybody, you know, of the way that it twists and turns, and how the nominations go, and their backstories start getting revealed. You're like, motherfuckers, right? You couldn't just leave it at we stole a bunch of Michelangelo paintings and now you get to see it on screen.
Yeah, and again, back to the concept of it being a political thriller. Often these things have like a very kind of like natural trajectory. You're like, oh, these are the front runners. Oh, maybe there's a bit of a mix or a shakeup. Oh, that person becomes pope or whatever. In this, not only do you see just the way that people are campaigning openly in like the way that you would see in like a political campaign in a democracy, but the type of underhanded stuff that's going on, like active dirt being brought in to like trying to like discredit other candidates, or people being moved around in secret. And I actually love Isabella Rossellini as Sister Agnes. Like she has this kind of line of like, I God or the church or God thinks that we shouldn't be seen, but luckily we still have eyes. Like as the nuns all being this group of people that like see everything. They're like almost all knowing because they're just that step below in the church of the priesthood. So they're kind of like in everything, but like nowhere at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was like I said, um
Hold on,
this
honestly,
is
actually, just because I've got something in my notes about Isabella Rossellini. It's also interesting to see her as a like very distinguished older woman playing a nun, when I've also seen her in Blue Velvet walk down the street fully frontally naked and just be a fucking maniac, and it's some of the most challenging sex scenes put on screen. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like I do definitely recommend this movie. Like this is never going to be a movie that's going to be number one on the box office, but I do think that this movie holds enough that a word of mouth should get out and people should watch it. Like, and I do agree with you, like in terms of watching it with an audience. See, when I went to go watch it, the reaction people had to that ending were totally different than you. Majority of the people were extremely upset. Like,
Were you in Cambridge?
yeah, but
Okay.
we went like the pre-opening night, right? Like the Thursday showing before.
So do
So
you think it's because this city has a large Catholic population?
I don't know. I don't know. But
Where I was
like
in Toronto,
it seemed like it was
den of disgrace and despair.
no, it seemed to be a mix in terms of age and demographic. It didn't seem like it looked like some people were just there for the cast, right? Like
And the
not going
others were
in.
there for the Catholic Church.
Yeah. But yeah, like there was it was interesting because yeah, there was a lot of like I don't want to say disdain, but just like a lot of negativity, like people like screaming like, what the fuck, are
They're
you
like,
serious?
shame.
Almost, yeah,
If
like
you're
what the
watching the
like,
YouTube, there's probably that scene from Game of Thrones that has just been added here for like
yeah.
shame.
No! No! I refuse. No! No! Shame. Shame. Shame, shame, shame.
And that's the thing, like I was listening, the thing that I like doing now, um especially doing this, right, is like I stay in my seat, and I like
Opposed
watching.
to whoa. Opposed to
No, when
what?
the movie's over, like I don't just get up and leave. I
Oh,
stay in
okay. I
my
was gonna
seat.
say, I'm like, that's what most people do at the movies, there, buds.
Oh no, I like walking around, be like, hey, are you good for popcorn? Like, do you need anything?
Where's your
Oh
boyfriend?
my, what? Who?
Your boyfriend.
No.
Where your boyfriend at? Is he getting you refreshments?
Giving
Right?
random people back massages.
Yeah, be like, shh, the Pope's here for you. But
Body of Christ, Spirit of
be like,
Sanctus.
do you need to sit on my lap and say your confessions? But no, like I like sitting in my seat and watching people leave, because normally that's because normally most people can't like hold their tongues, right? And that's when you're hearing um their honest opinions, is right when they're walking out, right, talking to their friends, right, because they need to get it out. And most people, from what I heard, they were all in on this movie until the ending, and then they're like, fuck, this movie sucked because of the ending. And I'm like, I think you guys are missing out on what this ending actually is, what it says. And to me, it might, like, would you put it up with Sixth Sense, like in terms of like, holy fuck?
Yeah, that's an interesting comparison. I would argue, I would actually argue that where some people probably did figure out the Sixth Sense thing, fuck you. If you, anybody who comes out and so this is based on a Robert Harris novel. So if he also wrote for the film Munich, The Edge of War, or he wrote the book that the movie's based on. Unless you've read that novel, there's no, I call total bullshit if you fucking pick this ending. So I would actually say it's bigger and better than the Sixth Sense, because again, I do think that some people may have actually been able to figure out the Sixth Sense. This one, fuck no fucking way, man.
All right, like they drop little clues, but it's never anything like huge, right? Because the clues they drop, you keep on thinking it's something else, right?
Yes.
Like, and then is the way they did it until the end. But yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. I do say go watch it. Go watch it with a group, and then talk amongst yourselves. See what you guys think.
So so you recommend this to like everybody, anybody? Like,
Do I need to fucking say it 4 times, man?
yes, you need
like,
to say it
I know
4
you're
times.
trying to pan this out. You're like, we can't have a short episode. Like, come on, Scott. But like, yes, I do recommend it, regardless if you're Catholic or not, Christian or not. Like, it does, like, I don't think that matters, right? Like, I would put this up with like 12 Angry Men, right? Like, if you want a movie that's like solely based on the dramatic performances of their cast and how they interpret themselves and put the words to screen, like, this is it. Like, I think this is one of the best dramatic ensembles, like, maybe because this is the first year for that casting one, right?
Yes.
So I
the
could see
Casting Director
this.
Award.
Yeah, I can see this getting nominated for it for sure, because the pieces that are put, and I think everybody here kind of circumvents their stereotype casting, that you think one person normally cast as a villain is going to be the villain in this movie. It's not. So I think that play on what your predetermination of what these people normally act in, and what they're like, the characters they usually play, is going to make you enjoy this movie a lot more. So that was like 3 minutes. Did that help you?
Yeah. And then I'm still gonna ask you a couple more questions here. So it is 120 minutes. Did you feel pacing was good? Do you think it's a bit slow at any points? Should it
No,
have been
I
longer,
think
shorter?
I think it's fine, right?
It's still shorter
Like,
than going to mass, right? Like, how long is a Catholic mass?
it's like an hour, 60 minutes, man. Yeah, but no, it's fine in that way. And I think because of the scene setups they have, especially with everything going outside of the Vatican at that time with the attacks that are going, and then like once you have that, like I don't think it spoils it, but once you have that scene where Father Lawrence is gonna put his vote in for the third time, right?
Oh,
When they do,
yes.
and then all of a sudden it's like the shaking, and you're like, holy fuck, it's God, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes,
then
yes,
like
yes.
right, like, and then what happens, right, like you're just like, holy fuck, right? Like it kind of jolts you, so that way you don't get like bored or anything like that, because then those kind of action pieces come in with the outside drama that like kind of like wakes you up kind of thing, and moves you a little bit further down your seat, right, so you can see what's kind of happening.
Awesome. It does have a 92% from the critics, got an 82% from the audience. As of the time of this recording, it's got a $20 million budget, and it's done $9 million at the box office. It is still available in theater. My kind of takeaway remarks on this, and then I'm going to finish with a quote, is that if you're looking for something to see in the theater, definitely go see it. Like I said, it looks gorgeous. It's going to translate to that large screen very well. But because it's a political drama, well acted, decent, like solid script and stuff, I do think that if you wait and watch this at home, it's going to translate back down to that small screen, or watch it in both, and then maybe you'll pick up some stuff. Maybe that ending is telegraphed, and I just didn't pick up on it during my first viewing of this film. And I am going to finish with Odie Henderson from the Boston Globe. Imagine an Agatha Christie mystery set in the Vatican where everybody has something to hide, and the movie can't wait to expose it to you and shock you in awe.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
Hey, so another interesting fact I found out about Isabella Rossellini is, so her father is famous, like, Italian director Roberto Rossellini, but she's also the daughter of, like, Ingrid Bergman, like one of the most famous Hollywood actors. I mean, I think she's actually Swedish or whatever. And then she like was married, I believe, to what's his name, Scorsese. She dated David Lynch. She dated what's his name there, Gary Oldman. Like, she's just embedded in like Hollywood elite, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's been a while since you've complained about nepotism, so I figure this is it, right? You're like, oh, famous Hollywood director dad, famous mom, like, of course she's
all your partners are like the who's who of your industry.
Yeah, where they're like, if you want me to make this Goodfellas movie, my wife here needs to be making this chocolate movie. Right? Right? She was in Love and Chocolate, right?
I think so, yeah.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.